Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'll be unboxing Coffee Roaster, a solo-only game about the pursuit of the perfect brew. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I'm ready to unbox Coffee Roaster. It's the holiday time of year as I record this, and it's also my birthday time of year, so a lot of unboxings to come. I'll space them out over the next several weeks. But I've received a few games already, and I'm starting to buy myself something too. But here is Coffee Roaster, and I want to point out, I think this is really nice. Just the package itself looks like like a bag of coffee beans, like it looks like it's brown wrapped paper with the little sticker that holds it shut, the brown sticker there. Obviously, it's not the case. It's a cardboard box, but I like that stylistic touch. And I've been interested in this game ever since watching a solo playthrough on Totally Tabled. If you're out there, Shaggy, hi. You run a great channel. So on that channel, there was a solo playthrough, but it was a different version of the game. So I'm curious to see. I think this is a reprint. I don't know if it's the same publisher or a different publisher, but I'm curious to see how the components might be different. I've never done coin capsules for cardboard before, but based off of that video, that made it seem really satisfying. So I might end up doing that here. I'm not sure yet. I am really excited to play this one. I think it's going to be great. So let's get this box lid off and see what's inside. Well, just like a standard bag of coffee, there's an advertisement for Terraforming Mars on the bottom there. False point. Okay, I don't know. Jeez Louise. Okay. Well, as much as I like the design on the outside of the box, I probably could have done without the pre-printed advertisements all over it. Let's see what we got here. So we've got our rulebook with all of the components here. Set up. Gameplay phase 1 is roasting. Phase 2 is cup testing. It's a sizable rule. I mean, the book itself is physically small, but there's more pages and text in here than I was expecting. End of game, an appendix. Oh, that's nice. I appreciate a good quick reference guide, cup effects. So that whole thing was, 23 pages. It's more than I was expecting. What is, oh, this is kind of neat. Just a back-to-back one-pager. About coffee plants and coffee beans. Okay, cool. I appreciate the thematic thought behind that. There's a Scorepad here, which friends of the channel will know. I'm never going to use that, but there you go. Scorepad. We've got our draw bag. Just black, no logo or anything, but that's okay. It'll get the job done. We've got a little envelope here full of cards. So there's different roasts you can make. I assume of different difficulties. That's probably what this one is. Twos. They're like little scenarios. Threes. There are a lot of these. I was not expecting that. And then a reference card for how the points work. Man, there's a bunch of those. How many of those are there? Let me grab this rule book here. Okay, interesting. So these are double-sided. Oh, but it's only one playable side. The rest is just informational. So there's 22 of these cards. And the 1, 2, and 3 is not necessarily difficulty. You can see here, beginner, expert, there's moderate. So there's ones that are, expert. Are there any 3s that are beginner? I see moderate. Yeah, beginner. Sure, there sure are. So it's almost sort of campaign style where I guess you can use up to 3 of these in a single game where you're doing multiple roasts at a time. But the rulebook said start with just one, and then based on how you do, there's instructions in the rulebook for your next game. And I don't know if maybe you move up to maybe more difficult beginner ones or a moderate one, or maybe you add a second roast, and so you're doing a beginner and a moderate at the same time, something like that. So that gives it more variability than I was expecting. I kind of thought there'd be like a couple ways to play, not 22 cards that you can play simultaneously. So that's neat. Let's take a look. We've got some cardboard punch outs here. So zeros, ones, and twos. Same front and back. Some more twos, threes, fours. This is some sort of effect. This is very fancy looking. This is like maybe a wild, like one of each. I forget what all these are. I think there's like aroma and, oh, here's moisture. I don't know what these squares are either. This is for the testing. This is like a big cup of coffee. That's kind of nice looking. Okay, this is body, acidity, and aroma. And this is indeed a wild. These are hard beans. I think there should be some more. Let's take a look at what else is in here. Yeah, these are additional punch outs. Okay, we've got more punch boards. So we've got the main board here to punch out. Here we go. So there's more of these moisture tokens. And then we've got defective beans here, smoke, and burnt beans. And another punch here. And then this is kind of a nice divider in the bottom. Let's see, a couple, literally a couple wooden tokens in that bag. So this is this printed or does this come out? This comes out. This is like a insert. So it's just a regular box. But that's a nice thing to do. Paper insert with this plastic tray. It's solid, that sits on top and helps you organize everything. So I like that. That's a very simple organizational system. Take the silica gel out. I don't want that getting in my coffee. So maybe I think I'm going to punch all this stuff out and organize it and put it away, and then give you my final thoughts on this unboxing without having played the game, but with my very first impressions. So here we go. So I've got this punched and sorted. After punching it all out, I guess first of all, those were super easy punch boards. Sometimes I've got more difficulty, but those every token punched out really smooth and easy, which was nice. Nothing was ripping at all. And then also, I really like the shape of these tokens. They're like coffee bean shaped. So I think I take back what I had wondered about earlier about putting these in coin capsules, because I kind of like the bean shape, and I don't want to make them circles. And they all feel uniform, and they're good quality cardboard. These are fine. So I don't think I'll be doing the capsules after all, but they all organized in their slots very well. I took these two red markers and put them in this bottom right corner, which is where I think they're intended to go. I took them out of their bag. These are all the one-time effect tokens. So like this one is sweetness. This one I think is some sort of exchange. I don't know if you get an extra bean or what, but these are all one-time like bonuses. So those go there along with these two red wooden pieces, the little circle and the cube. Now, the only pretty minor complaint that I had in putting this all away is obviously you don't want this stuff to all get mixed up, and the only component that's large enough to actually cover all this is this little descriptor about the coffee plant and the coffee bean. So it kind of makes me think that that's why it was included, rather than just for the fun of it. Like, it's the only thing that will sit here and cover everything up. The next closest piece, like they should have made the rule book this size, if that's what they were going to do. Because now it's kind of a pain in the butt to get out as well, because it's just one thin sheet. Because this could sit there, but if you move the box around, if it gets jostled, it's got this big hole in it, like pieces are going to fly around and get all mixed up. So minor complaint, but that was kind of a silly oversight. So this is your main board, also called the roast board, and I guess this is the light roast side. It's double-sided, and this is the standard side. So I don't know how to play, but I see there's 3 bean spots here and 2 here. There's 4 and 3 on the other side, and then this has seems like more specific requirements. Like the second one, this would be really rough, I think, if you were colorblind, with the red, green, and blue, because the symbols are a little bit tough to differentiate. But this here, the second one down in the left column is green, and when I flip it over, this is looks like wild. I don't know if this makes it easier, or maybe this icon means something else and it's more difficult. So I'm not sure which is the more difficult side, but this is the main board, the roast board. And this is the thermostat. And I know this is where your little circle goes, your little wooden circle. It's like a round tracker as well, but this is the thermostat. I assume the cube goes down here, and this is probably a points tracker. And again, we've got this icon down in the bottom. So this side is for light, and this side is for standard. And I see, if nothing else, I at least noticed the number of smoke icons here. There's 2 smoke and 3 smoke, whereas this side is 1 and 2. So I'm sure that will have some sort of gameplay effect. And then this is the cup testing board. This one is one-sided on the back. I have not decided it. Am I looking directly down on an empty cup of coffee, or is this like is this just the bottom of the plate? Like I flip the plate. I don't understand what I'm looking at here. Doesn't really matter. So you're gonna be placing beans on here to, suppose, test your coffee and make a nice cup. So then all these cards easily go in here. We got plenty of room for this Scorepad that I'm not going to use. Here's the bag. Because if it wasn't clear, each game you're taking a bunch of the different beans from the bottom and putting in the bag, and you're blind drawing them and then having to work with what you've got. That's the main mechanic of how this game works. Probably could have mentioned that sooner for those who were curious. And then the rule book goes on top here. There's plenty of open room. So I would want to be careful, like standing this box up, on my shelf on its side, because again, there's enough room for this to tip and sort of all of those components to come tumbling around. And I think I did have this when it was still wrapped up on my shelf sideways. So I'm gonna have to think about how I'm gonna store this one. You'll definitely want to store it just like this to not have all your beans get mixed up. I had a different game when I was a real little kid called Don't Spill the Beans, and apparently that's what Coffee Roaster is as well, at least once you've put it away. But that is what's in the Coffee Roaster box, at least for this Stronghold Games edition that looks like this. I know there's at least one other edition out there, and maybe there's going to be more in the future. I don't know, but that's what's in this box. I'm looking forward to playing it. I think the gameplay is going to be great. I'll definitely get it on this channel at some point. I really have a backlog of games to record, but this is one I'm really excited to play, and I'll be sure to get it on here sometime. In the meantime, you can go watch Totally Tabled and see Shaggy's playthrough. If anybody knows that guy, tell him hi for me. I think we'd be buds. Tell him Table for One sent you. He's doing good stuff over there. But hey, before you leave, be sure to subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video if this is the type of content you want to see more of. Be sure to leave me a comment if you've got questions about this game. Leave it in the comments as well. I'll do my best to try and help you out and answer questions. And don't forget, in the description of all of my videos, I have a link to my official website. That's tablefor1.games, as well as a link to my coffee page. That's not coffee like Coffee Roaster. It's coffee like KO-FI, where you can leave me a tip if that's something you want to do. I don't do Patreon, but I do coffee. So all of my content is always free right away to everybody. No memberships, no paid content. I'm just doing my best to keep everything accessible. So that's what I've got on this episode of Table for One. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Why don't we both go make ourselves a fresh cup of coffee, and then I'll see you in the next video.